Hello and welcome back to the Changing Earth podcast. So this is week 2 of our special rerun picks. Hopefully I was out on the ocean, caught some great fish, and no CMEs hit while I was out there. Be the story of my life that I finally went out on the ocean and, catastrophe hits while I'm out there. But anyway, I'm praying that was not the case and that we've got some great fish to bring home and we had an excellent time on vacation. For this week, I picked out a episode that used to have a Hope on the Horizon chapter in there. So if you go back and listen to the original episode, you're going to hear that chapter of Hope on the Horizon. But since we're so deep into the Vergis story, I didn't want to confuse minds with that chapter read. So this episode is also one that's near and dear to my heart because of Edgar Cayce and his prophetic vision of, what the United States map would look like. And that's pretty much what I based my map for my world off of. So neat stuff. And I hope you guys really enjoy it. We will see you next week. If everything goes right, I should have a very, very special show for you next week that you will definitely want to tune into. Until then, prayers that everybody's safe and doing well. Without any further ado, let's get into the show.
Welcome back to the Changing Earth podcast with author Sarah F. Hathaway and co-host Chen Gibson. Blending survival, fiction, and fact to bring you entertaining education that will help you dream, survive, and thrive. And now, here's your host, Sarah F. Hathaway and Chen Gibson.
Hey guys, welcome back to the Changing Earth podcast. This is episode number 251, season 7, episode 13. Hey Chen, what's up?
Hey, chin's up. It's like deja vu for me.
Right?
Okay, little inside baseball. I listened to this chapter prepping for last week. Oops.
So now we're doing the same chapter again. No. Yeah, jumping the ball, jumping the gun. Maybe you were just being prepared, super prepared, right?
I just love the jokes. I have to listen to this episode. I love the jokes.
Yeah, Gear's character is awesome in this book. He really brings it to light. All right, well, what's going on there over there in South Carolina? How's the weather's been pretty much the same as ours.
Yeah, actually, it was kind of cold the last couple of days. Overnights.
Yep. I've been putting on a sweatshirt.
Probably. Yeah, so, it's been, getting up into low, mid-70s during the day. So it's actually perfect. What beautiful weather.
Yeah. Yeah, I'll take it. This would be, I could take this year-round, that's for sure. Makes you want to go outside and work instead of being inside, but...
Inside, yeah. Mm-hmm. Well, there's no problem with that. I think if people are smart... the whole problem is people need to be smart, right? Just freaking be smart. I don't know.
I don't even know what to say about all that anymore. I'm so tired of it. Ridiculous. I'm, ready for Corona parties,
I hear you.
I don't know.
I don't think it'd take much. It doesn't take much. You just got to be smart, and this whole thing.
Some of my survival buddies would be like, "Survival of the fittest." That's what it's all about.
Well, there's the health issue and the economy issue in my mind, and they're kind of intertwined with each other in my mind. And
completely
we can't blow up the economy, and we can't blow up the health because if you get too many people sick, the economy is going to get screwed. And if you don't get back to work, and if you don't start getting out, the economy is going to be screwed. So there's got to be an intelligent way forward, and it's not spring break. You know what I mean? There's an intelligent way forward. Fair enough. And it doesn't have to be locked in your house. I just think...
there's so many arguments for either direction that you just don't know which way to go. It's just too...
it's hard to
navigate
on board
those
with
waters.
that. There's no guarantee in safety in life, right? So I'm totally on board with that, but I'm also on board with there's reactions and have consequences. So you just got to be.
I think if you're high risk, you got to protect yourself.
Yes, and if you're going to be around a high risk person, protect yourself. Yep. You can protect them. Yep. It's just simple.
Yeah.
And like that lady.
However, we can't end the life. We can't end life of the people who aren't high risk.
And like that hair salon, like why the hell are you closing a hair salon down? Because you could be. You can
put that lady in jail for like 7 days.
So, but good for her for standing up and saying, "I'm going to open my salon. We're going to start work." Because
they need food.
There could be some things put into place so people can be safe, right? Yeah. So, this is a hair salon. It's not like a Bordeaux or something. You know what I mean?
Exactly.
So we're not like. I don't know. So good for her for standing her ground. She got kudos in the community, I'm sure. For
I caught a clip on what that judge told her, and it was just.
I heard the governor paid her bail money or something to get her out.
I wouldn't be surprised. That judge was just absolutely ridiculous. Yeah. It was like
and that's the problem right now. Yeah. There's too many people using this to swing their what's around.
Mm-hmm. That's so true.
Power.
So you still got meat limits over there too?
Oh yeah. So what we were this has actually changed some of our habits. Maybe I'm not sure, but it's actually for the good. I think, at least for my household. So like we've been ordering off of like Costco and Amazon and stuff, right? Yeah. Like our food, we've been ordering at Costco, and it comes to my house in like 2 hours.
It's crazy.
And so I could be doing stuff at home and working on stuff, and I placed an order, and it shows up at my door. I'm like, well, why wasn't I doing this before?
It's so crazy.
Yeah. So, and I mean, I don't live that far away from a Costco, so it's all.
Yeah, well, we do. I come to find out the only Costco is like over by Dallas from here. I was like, what?
No, ours is close enough to be our like local grocery store. It's that close.
Oh yeah,
I mean, really close. I mean, I could walk to it if I had to, but it's a really short card, right?
Yeah.
But
we have a Sam's Club. I wasn't like overly impressed by it. So.
Yeah, but so it was meat products. Like cut meat, like butcher meat products, where not like sausage and stuff, but
like pack of steaks, that kind of stuff. Yeah,
are 3 max, and I think it's 3. Like you can get 1 chicken and 2 steaks, or I think that I haven't proven that one way or the other because it's stupid expensive. It's like the pack of chicken, which was, I mean, it was like a family size pack, but it was like $47.
Damn.
Yeah, so my wife's like, we're going to be raising chickens. I'm like, yes, we are.
Yeah, luckily we haven't, I don't know, the chicken to me seemed weird for a while, and so I haven't been like, I haven't been eating chicken, honestly, because it has a weird texture.
We had bought chicken. We had Earth Fare. I don't know. It's like Whole Foods. So it's like a competition for Whole Foods, and it's an East Coast thing. And they went out of business, so they had a huge sale. And we bought like a freaking Mongo box of chicken, and I vacuum sealed it and put it in the freezer. So I have like chicken
for days.
Yeah, for days, for weeks.
Nice. Yeah, I always buy like just big lumps of meat and then butcher it up.
Oh, this is like a big, like, we bought the whole box. We bought like, I don't know, 40 pounds.
Might as well.
Huge box.
Yep.
It's
worth it to buy it that way.
It was like $3 a pound.
It's crazy.
So, I mean, I spent money, but it now when you look at it now, it's really expensive.
Good investment. I know. That's why I would rather buy bulk meat. You got to pay the money out, but...
Yeah, we just bought it because that's our way of thinking, right?
Yeah.
And it paid off. Now it really paid off
Yep.
Because, yeah.
Yeah, I do that every time because you can buy the bulk so much cheaper and then break it
Absolute-
up into like multiple meals instead of.
We had to laugh. So, Rado, my wife wanted to do some bread, and because we haven't really made much bread. We had a bread maker, and we used to make it a lot. But we're like, let's just break it out and start getting back into the swing of things and making bread. But bread, the wheat is so hard to come by. So Costco had it 50-pound bag.
Hey, man, you got to do what you got to do.
We bought a damn 50. I felt so sorry. So this young girl was the delivery person for us today.
Yeah.
I'm like, I just was like, I was like, oh, I'm so sorry.
Oh man, I used to work at the feed store, like bucking feed all the time. It's good for you.
So we're like, well, we can give some. This will be good. Building good relationships. We're gonna give some to the neighbor and stuff. So.
Oh man, that's.
I'll give him a Ziploc bag full of
some wheat.
I'm gonna give some to my mom. She'll make some.
Yeah,
and
they
we'll
had
still have plenty because it's just two of us here at this house. So
they actually had TP down there at Sam's Club. So
they finally showed that back on Costco.
Yeah,
because you go to their website, you order everything, and you have like a 5-day delivery, a 2-day delivery, or a same-day delivery options. It's awesome. Yeah.
I probably don't have same-day delivery options. Saying,
like 5 days comes box like UPS.
That's cool. That's cool. I could deal with that.
Yeah.
Yeah, because they have a lot more organic options on a lot of stores.
They have
organic bulk products from them. So
you can you can do a search for just organic, and it shows all the food across the store organic. Yeah. That's what we try. My wife is all about the organic.
I'm going to have to check it out and see if they will deliver out here.
I'm sure they'll do like the 5-day.
So anyway, today is Mother's Day when we're recording, and I put the end in pen on my notebook.
Wow.
Yeah. Yeah.
That's exciting.
It's weird. It's weird.
It's weird.
But yeah, it's the end. So, and I think I thought of a title. I'm not ready to announce it yet, but remind me after we're done recording. And but I think I thought of a title, and so it's coming really shortly. We'll see. I'll start, like I say, I got to finish typing because somebody told me to write it all in the notebook and keep true to my method.
That's right.
So
hey, if you did it, it could screw up the whole thing.
I know. And it was like my coup de grace, so I was like, nah, okay. So I got to get typing, get that all taken care of, but we're on route to having the last book of the Changing Earth series.
Auction company up in New York?
Big auction company?
Yeah.
I don't know. I don't know the East Coast, man.
Well, this is like they sell like the Wizard of Oz shoes, Well, they're going to be selling your books there. Your handwritten books there.
Nice. Oh, yeah. I've got tons of notebooks. They do skip around sometimes because sometimes I get excited about it, and then I'll just jump into my computer and leave the notebook behind. So some of them are like there. And, I mean, to do 3 books in 1 year.
Christie's.
What?
Christie's Auction House.
Okay.
Yep.
I'm the moron.
Well, there's your target. You're going to sell it at Christie's.
All right. I have no idea what it is, but I'm there. I'm there. All right. Let's jump into the storyline today because I've got some really cool information. And for those of you who have been with the Changing Earth series for a long time, you might find this show of particular interest, and I'll explain more later why. Are you struggling with water storage woes? Tired of the algae and bacteria growing in your water? The weight of storing it and the amount of space that it takes up? The time that it takes to rotate it, and even when it comes to drinking it, you still need a filter because it's gone stale and you're not sure what has been growing in there. This limited supply of water storage can be a mess to store. If any of the containers break, you have water all over the place, and this leaves you storing water in a place that might not be as concealed as you'd prefer. Today I want to introduce you to the solution, which is the Waterful system. The Waterful system hooks up to any outdoor spigot. It contains 30 gallons of on-demand drinkable water for whenever disaster hits you and you need that water. Made in America to meet all safety requirements to ensure that you have drinkable water whenever you need it. There's no need to rotate the Waterful system because its pressurized canister ensures your water's rotated every time you turn the hose on. It can stand up to any type of weather, is very, very durable, and it's made with UV inhibitors so it can stand the test of time in the sun. You don't have to worry about cleaning your Waterful system because it takes care of itself. It is the ultimate plug-and-play water storage system, ensuring you have 30 gallons of drinkable water should disaster hit. Its sleek color ensures that it blends into any outdoor atmosphere and doesn't leave you with a big blue beacon of water storage outside of your home. There's no guesswork to put the Waterful system together. It is a plug-and-play system that you can have ready in about 10 minutes. As somebody who's been into preparedness and helping others to prepare for any disasters that befall their life, the Waterful system is the solution to water storage. I highly recommend you go over to Waterful, check it out, and use the code SARA, S-A-R-A. One more time, go over to Waterful, check it out, see about their system, and if it's a good fit for you, and use the code SARA, S-A-R-A. Help the changing earth world go round and get yourself prepared for the next disaster.
Hello. Welcome to the podcast. Present your vaccine passport. Enter your social credit score. And be sure you have enough remaining carbon credits to enjoy today's show.
Your garden is the resistance.
How do you like the boat ride there?
Oh, it's fun. Who doesn't like a good boat ride?
Yeah, they'll pick some right up at Kingman, Arizona. So if you guys have ever studied maps, you'd be a little like, what?
What?
Yeah. And
I've got the real map to look at.
yeah, exactly. Everybody's going to have the real map by the end of today, kind of. So that's why today is actually a little bit more special. When I've done my flooding episodes in the past, it's really just talking about like what's going to happen for the coastlines and how we can manage through flooding situations. But today I'm going to present a lot of the forecasts and where I got my map from to really start the Changing Earth adventure. So that's why I said in the beginning, if you've been into my podcast for a while, you are definitely going to love this episode because we're going to go through some of those theories and we'll get a little out there by the end, but I promise you it'll be okay. So there's lots of forecasts of flooding of what would happen if the glaciers were to melt, right?
Yeah, I don't think my house is tall enough for this.
Right? Yeah, I know.
I'm looking at South Carolina and I don't know if I could tread water this long.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying, man. You need to be ready to roll west. Or like just have like a hidden rowboat in the ceiling, and then like when you give the command, boom, your ceiling opens up, boat comes out of the top.
There's that thing where you're supposed to keep an axe in the ceiling in the attic. Well, now I need to keep a rowboat in the attic.
That's right, dude. Like one of the turtle shells, like I write in my, God, what was the one book I wrote where that was one of the ways somebody survived, the turtle shell boat, and they pop to the top like a little bobber.
Yep.
Yeah, that's exactly what you need, man. So if the less, let's start a little bit more conservative with our estimates. We're going to put it that way. And if you just think about if the glaciers were to melt, and they've been studying like some are melting, some are growing kind of thing. But let's just say for the sake of conversation that all the glaciers were to melt. It would be a 70-meter increase in our ocean level rise. Now, I suck with conversions. So how much is 70 meters in like miles? And like
I don't know.
100 miles or something? Yeah, start typing away over there. So
It is. Oh, it gives me yards. How about,
what? Okay, go
feet?
yards. That's fine.
So it's feet. So 230 feet.
So 230 foot increase in where the water is on the shoreline. So that's taking out a lot of our coastlines.
So I think I'm at like 13 feet above sea level.
Yeah, you're in big trouble. Even with this scenario, which is happening.
My other house was like at 1.
Yeah, it's happening, like for real. I've talked to scientists about this. The ocean level is coming up. Certain, like the Navy and stuff like that, have started accounting for it, but they haven't moved a lot of the facilities back. There's lots of debates over property
the
values.
Navy floats.
Yeah.
It's the Air Force that's got to worry about it.
Yeah, there's lots of, debate. Well, we have so many like oil refineries and chemical plants.
And they're all at the coast, right?
Yeah.
Or a lot of them.
Yes.
Because that's how it gets transported, shipped, right?
Exactly. And I'm like, this is really bad news. Why is nobody thinking about that? Well, we don't get elected for talking about those kinds of things.
What about the nuclear reactors?
Exactly. Okay, that's what I've been trying to hello. But you guys know this portion is true and it's happening. It's happening with our planet and you know it. And you're not doing anything to even talk about it. Bring the conversation to light, start developing some ideas.
Mm-hmm. Heck, they can't even start talking about
I know.
the infrastructure, the power infrastructure.
Exactly. We're so reactionary. We're so reactionary. So they're just waiting. So the Atlantic seaboard would vanish along with Florida and the Gulf Coast. Mm-hmm. So that's just gone. And that's, if you've been reading my books along, Battle for the South, I talk about where the new coastline is and the Appalachian Islands, the Appalachian Island, it's the area out there now. Yeah. Where it's been cut off. So it's pretty trippy. So that's it. That my book version is, we're going to get into that later, but this conservative view, even in this conservative view, the Atlantic seaboard's gone, Florida's gone, Gulf Coast gone. California is mostly underwater. San Francisco's an island, which I think they just said that because they want to save San Francisco. But San Francisco would probably be gone too. A lot of that is just filled.
California's like the Outer Banks.
Right. Yes. They're like the barrier islands.
Yeah.
So, South America, they lose Buenos Aires, most of Paraguay, Uruguay. Africa's okay, but because of climate change and whatnot, it's just too hot to live in most of it now. And like I said, these are the conservative estimates from the USGS on just what would happen if the glaciers melted. So, Europe and London and Venice is gone. Because London, is right there. They have the huge dams that keep them okay. What else happens with all this glacial melting? Well, frozen dead bodies start appearing. There's a lot of, when the glaciers were made, it trapped a lot of stuff. So I found that interesting because we would have more information on past civilizations and stuff like that. Inuit people. Anybody who relies on the ice for their lifestyles is going to have to relocate. Europe is in big trouble. Earthquakes wreak havoc across the globe, and there's volcanic eruptions. So here they admit that because of the water, that it's going to disrupt the planet and cause these earthquakes and more volcanic eruptions. That's important later, so hold on to that thought because they say it right there. And then chaos, civil unrest.
Yeah.
We lose a lot of property values, things like that. So people are panicking as the coastlines go. They're losing everything.
We're practicing for the next one.
Yep, we are.
We have dress
exactly.
rehearsal for this next one.
Exactly. The hidden viruses are revealed. Because there's a lot of things trapped in the ice that are dormant now. Arctic animals die. Temperatures slowly rise. So I have to question that because they just said there was an increase in volcanic eruptions and that would blanket the earth with, what is it? Sodium dioxide that comes out of
the clouds.
Yep. Right.
The volcanic winter. Oh, no, it's a nuclear winter.
Yeah. So, no, but it would be the same thing, volcanic winter. So, I mean, you have that fighting against you. Florida is gone. The weather cycle's mega screwed up.
You see that picture of that lady?
Yeah.
In the article you sent me, she's like this lady with, she's 2 hands on her head, like standing in knee-deep water.
Yeah, it's over. Companies are still drilling for oil.
Yeah.
And the days will actually be slightly longer because just by 2/3 of a second.
That's the one that it was like, wow.
Yeah.
Who would have thought? Yeah.
Change that much just because of water being stored in ice or not. It's a trip. And then Europe could be the new North Pole because the pole is slipping. So this is an article I found from, basically the greenies on what would happen if we lose our glaciers. So there's some key things that they said in there. That is from theclever.com, and that's the 15 most shocking things that would happen if all the glaciers melted. And so, like I said, there's a couple of key things they mentioned in there. One about the earthquakes. Keep that in your mind. And then one about the warming, which I disagree. It would be because of the volcanic energy would be backwards. And then they say Europe could be the new North Pole because the pole is slipping. So that's important too.
Yep. Because the pole, that's been talked about a lot lately.
Yes, because
it
is on the move.
It is moving, yeah.
It is moving. That is legit. There was like 180,000 lightning strikes in New Zealand over one weekend because the magnetic energy is going wonky sauce on our planet right now. And that is the technical term right there.
You really read a lot of technical manuals, don't you?
I know. I pick up all this stuff. Well, no, see, that's what you got to make this into understandable language. So, even the conservative flood map is devastating as far as it goes to our economy and stuff like that, to environmental fallout that could happen. Like you said, all the nuclear plants are on the coastlines, things like that.
And what about all the financial markets, a lot of industry, a lot of the major cities, the whole eastern seaboard, right? So that's New York, Washington, Philly. The whole name all the big cities on the eastern seaboard, and it's there. Yeah.
Just cataclysmic for the eastern seaboard.
Yeah.
And pretty much the same. You're looking at Seattle, San Francisco, LA, pretty much the same for any of the big cities on the West Coast as well. Portland might be safe. Right. So you can check that map out at www.globalfloodingmap.org/United States. And that one, it's kind of cool. You can see like if you increase and decrease the
height. Yeah.
Yeah. It's kind of neat for what it is. It's kind of cool. So if you want to go play with a little map, you head on over there. The catastrophic theory that I go off of to base my fictional novel off of is a little bit different. And it comes from a theory that's like our changing planet theory. Look that up. And it's also often dismissed as just crazy prophets that like don't really know what they're talking about. So we're just going to dismiss that as a possibility. This theory, it all stems from this cataclysmic pole shift, which is really happening right now. And it just is. I'm sorry. I'm really into this stuff. And to know that, like, there's legit things happening that would back this theory up, it's kind of crazy. So science has shown it's happening. It's a fact of life right now. The future Earth would be... So this theory suggests that the future Earth is going to be ravaged by flooding. and like and volcanic activity because of the mantle disruptions. So Mount Etna in Italy and Mount Pelée, if they were to erupt together, you would have like 90 days to evacuate before the floods hit every coastline. It's crazy. What could happen with this volcanic activity is just crazy. Well, a lot of scientists said in the past, like, it happens so slow. It happens slow over time. Mm-hmm. I've got to believe that sometimes it is just violent and rapid because it creates some amazing things. So scientists, they've dismissed theories of earthquakes causing the polar shift because they just don't think that the mantle itself could, like, cause that much disruption to where the Earth itself would cause a polar shift. I don't know why specifically, but it's very much dismissed that earthquakes will not be the cause of the polar change. But they're like, well, if we got hit by a meteor, it would rock the world off enough that it could cause a polar change. Now, granted, it's true as well. I'm not going to say it's not possible if a meteor would cause a lot more damage that we need to worry about before we were worried about any of the pole stuff happening,
Mm-hmm.
Depending on the size of the meteor.
Don't we have Bruce Willis? Isn't he going to help us?
Right, yeah. Yeah, they got the bombs. They're going to go up there.
Yeah.
You just got to feel the power between your legs. That one dude. In my opinion, I say yes, that earthquakes, this is like turning into ancient aliens now. Some scientists, some theorists believe, they say yes. So I'm saying yes in my books, and that's kind of where the Changing Earth series blossomed. Billionaires, on the other hand, it looks like they agree with me as well. They are buying, this article came from Forbes. It's not like conspiracy theory 2002 or something, It's like it came out of Forbes. They're talking about it because of this activity from these billionaires. So what's going on with this? They started buying up land that's conducive to self-survival, farming, and coal mining.
Coal mining? We need to ban that.
Right? No, that's important. It's happening all across the interior of the country. Now, why are they buying up these interior places? I was thinking, it's cheap. Right now, it's a lot cheaper to go than the edge. But why would you just buy? John Malone owns 2,200,000 acres in Wyoming, Colorado.
Holy smokes.
Yeah. They all have little private bug out locations there with like emergency plans to reach these areas if they had to be there in the blink, right?
They're one of those crazy like militia prepper guys, aren't they?
Crazy prepper people. I mean, really? Billionaires doing this? Yeah. Ted Turner, 2 million acres he owns in Montana, Nebraska, New Mexico, and South Dakota. So blending up those together, it's 2 million acres that he owns. He probably has a house on each parcel, where he could go, depending on whatever happened.
Mm-hmm.
Philip Anschutz, he owns 434,000 acres in Wyoming. And Jeff Bezos, he's Amazon. He owns 400,000 acres in Texas. Stan Kroenke, he owns 162 acres in Montana. And like I said, they all have these emergency plans to get there if they needed to. They have helicopter landing pads and all kinds of everything to get there. So whether they just
Could you imagine having that much land?
Right?
Holy
No,
smoke.
I couldn't. It's crazy because all of the places that they're like buying and things, it's not like remember back in the day, it was like, oh, we're all building bunkers and stockpiling stuff there.
Mm-hmm.
Well, it's not like that anymore. They're setting up self-sustainable cities and towns and full on like, I can survive here with the farms and everything, just like we've been preaching for days. They're actually doing it. And Bill Gates himself bought up 28,000 acres in Arizona to form his own city called Belmont, which will transform a raw, blank land into a futuristic city built around a flexible infrastructure model. Yeah, so if you really love Gates and you want to survive with him forever, head on out to Belmont.
Man, I need to come up with some brilliant tech ideas.
Right?
Make some real money so I can buy some land.
I know. And like I say, it's just weird because it hasn't been like a stockpiling, like a traditional effort. It's been like, we're going to build our own self-sustainable farming areas.
And a lot of these guys are like smart, right? They're not like, I don't know, like IT people, research kind of driven guys. They're not, you know what I mean?
Right? Yeah.
So it's interesting.
Yeah, that they all know about it. And why pick all these interior locations? So the land changes that I used in my specific novel, you can check it out. I have a link to it. I'm going to put some of the pictures on my blog for this week. I just have to reference them because they're not free. But it's you can find them in the Forbes article that I've linked. And these are literally like the maps that I'm using. Well, for the United States, my characters don't go worldwide, but you can see any area of the world in these maps. And they were land changes that were based on Gordon Michael Scallion and Edgar Casey's models. So I'm going to talk a little bit about each of them when I'm done, just because I want to give you a background and know that it's not just like a tinfoil hat thing. But I digress. Let's talk about Africa. So Africa will be divided into 3 parts. The Nile widens significantly. The new waterways splits the area from the Mediterranean towards Gabon. And Cairo disappears into the Red Sea. New land's going to rise in the Arabian Sea, north and northwest of Cape Towns with mountains. So this is at the whole time that certain areas are going down, other areas are coming up. Lake Victoria merges with Lake Nyassa and flows into the Indian Ocean, and Central and East Africa coastlines, they're completely inundated with water. So did you check out those maps at the bottom, Chin?
Oh, you know what? I didn't scroll all the way down. I got stuck on the whole America. You know me, I'm American. I couldn't get past the America map.
Right? Yeah, the top. Yeah, keep going down. Keep going down. See, Africa looks like it's like a tuning fork or something in the middle of water. Like the water in the middle.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, it's a trip.
It's almost like a reverse volcano look.
Yeah.
It's a reverse crater.
That's true. And that's just because of the plate movement that is happening down in there, which is...
Wow, there's so much more than just America to look at here.
Yes. Yes, you can see the whole world.
Look at the inner lake of Russia.
Yeah. Okay, so Asia, the land inundated from the Philippines to Japan.
Holy smokes.
Yeah. North to the Bering Sea, Japan sinks. There's only a few small islands left. Taiwan and most of Korea is gone.
Oh, yeah.
Philippines are gone. Indonesia breaks up, but new islands appear. You know, it has so much volcanic activity happening right now that it actually does like earth building there as opposed to just sinking. So that's kind of cool. Like how Hawaii built, right?
Yeah.
China, the coastline moves in just by hundreds of miles. See how small China got?
Imagine how many people are displaced or
right?
not.
Or not.
Floating.
Yeah. Or in the ocean. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
India, the land buckles.
Yeah.
And low elevation causes survivors there get told to flee to the Himalayas, Tibet, Nepal, China, into the high mountains in India because it will just buckle. So, I mean, that's in the description, but on the map, I don't see that it's as bad as the description sounds.
It looks like they lost the coastline, but that's
right?
All that I kind of see out of this map.
But it could be, I'm not a big follower of India. Like, I don't know that much about it. It could be that most of their city centers are all along that area that gets annihilated. And Sri Lanka's gone at the bottom. So, I mean, I don't know. Antarctica becomes a fertile, rich soil land with farmland, and new land is created there in the Antarctic, from the Antarctic Peninsula to Tierra del Fuego and east towards the South Georgia Island. So Antarctica actually becomes like the place you want to be. I mean, if there's the pole shift that's going on and there's land over there, then, you know. Australia. So let's look at Australia. We got all our Australia awesome people.
Welcome to the Outback, huh?
Yeah.
Where everybody's going to be going.
So Australia loses a lot of coastline.
Yeah.
Right? 25% of Australia is gone. The Adelaide area becomes sea all the way to, I want to say Lake Erie, but I'm sure I'm wrong on how to pronounce it, because everything, how you think Australian should sound is wrong. The Simpson and the Gibson Desert, they're like these huge no-grow areas right now. They will become fertile land, and new land emerges off the coast of Australia. So that's actually a growing landmass. Yep. And New Zealand would continue to grow, and join with old Australia. And they say it's actually one of the safest places that you could be is in New Zealand, that it's going to be like just a land of plenty, right?
Way to go. I bet Gates buys that up next because he listens to the podcast.
Oh yeah, I'm sure he's tuning in.
He's like, oh, podcast. Call my realtor.
Yeah, we're getting land in New Zealand. But yeah, that's what they say. I don't know. New Zealand's pretty darn active with some of the
look at how much it says. It shows it's growing the landmass. It's huge,
right? I know. Yeah. It's way huge. And then see how it connects down on the bottom back with Australia.
Yep.
Yeah.
You know what? You buy that little tip of land down there, just like 20 acres, and put up a toll booth. You'll
survive
be rich.
The earthquakes as everything happens.
If you own that little strip right there, boom, you're rich.
Yeah, it's true. Put up the toll booth.
Yeah, that's how I'm making my money right there.
All right.
Retirement plan.
Buy that. So Europe gets destroyed.
Yeah.
Most of Europe's going to sink and become hundreds of small islands. The UK will disappear beneath the sea with small islands remaining.
Think of the Caribbean islands, just splattered all over the place.
Yeah. They said that Casey and Gibson, I'm going to talk about Gibson, but they say that London and Birmingham are going to survive on these islands. So, I mean, the disaster you're going to go through to get to a survival point is going to be exceptionally bad. Ireland, sorry to my Ireland listeners. Ireland disappears except for the high areas. Russia gets completely separated from Europe when a new sea forms. It's going to join the Caspian, the Black, the Kara, and the Baltic Sea, combine it all together, and stretch all the way to the Yenisei River in Siberia. Russia's still a good climate for farming at that point, so that's where the food for a lot of the European islands will be grown there.
Mm-hmm.
The Black Sea is going to merge with the North Sea. Bulgaria and Romania will be underwater. Areas of Western Turkey are underwater. There's a new coastline from Istanbul to Cyprus. Central Europe sinks, and land between the Mediterranean and Baltic Sea is underwater. France is underwater. Paris and the surrounding area is still an island. See, they always pick out the cities to survive.
Yeah, because they don't want to spook these people too much.
Yeah, see them go. But a new waterway separates France from Switzerland, and Italy is divided by water. Venice, Naples, Rome, they're all gone. Highlands become the islands, and new lands rise from Sicily to Sardinia.
You know what other thing I'm thinking of is a good investment for retirement?
A boat?
Buy a shipyard. Arizona or someplace.
Yes, that's true.
And then I could be building boats and selling them.
That's why I was really fascinated by this stuff, and that's where, make a fictional story, right?
Well, you failed if you're making it all come true. That's not fiction.
Yeah, no, I can't, I can't explain that one. That's not fair, because I just wrote a fictional story from like a map that I saw and liked, things like that. And then I started finding out more about it, and I was like, oh. All right, so North America, the land where most of us live, that are listening to my podcast. Canada is pushed like almost 200 miles. Quebec, Ontario, Manitoba, Saskatchewan, and areas of Alberta become the survival centers. So refugees from BC and Alaska flock there for survival.
Wow.
The United States, the North American plate buckles. California becomes the barrier islands, just like I wrote them in my book. They're just out there. There's like 150 of them.
They are just out there.
They are. Yeah. The West Coast recedes towards Nebraska, Wyoming, and Colorado. So there's this area where it just flows in all the way to the Colorado mountain, to the Rocky Mountains there. It's just an area of low sea level as opposed to what New Mexico and that half of Arizona is, because I looked at the topographical maps of how this would all lay in there if water did come up in there. And New Mexico is actually, even though you think of it like a plain area, it actually has a lot of hills and whatnot. And its elevation is actually pretty high. So it would keep itself dry, but you can see how the water would just swoop in there and then take all the way down to Mexico.
Mm-hmm.
It's actually accurate if you look at the topographical maps and then think about if the whole level came up. So I picked it right out like that from my book from looking at topo maps. Anyway, the Great Lakes and the St. Lawrence Seaway, they're going to join together. I mean, that's just not unheard of. They're already right there anyway. And then they'll continue on down to the Mississippi and go straight to the Gulf of Mexico. That's where I wrote in the Mississippi Sea into my books. Mm-hmm. And that's that area that kind of widens out and fills in that gap there. Maine to Florida, that whole coastline's just gone. And on his map, to, his respect, he leaves some of Florida there, which, again, I'm going to have to question that, because even on the flood maps that are the conservative estimates, that lower part of Florida is gone. In Mexico, most of the coast is gone. The Baja's just more islands that are like together with the California islands. Yucatan Peninsula is gone. Central America and the Caribbean, it sinks, becomes a series of islands. Only the high elevations are safe in there. There's a new waterway from the Bay of Honduras to the Salinas, Ecuador. South America. There's heavy earthquake and volcanic activity in South America. So here they're saying it again. Venezuela, Colombia, and Brazil flooded. They would flood completely over. The Amazon basin becomes a huge inland sea. So South America just gets like packed apart. Mm-hmm. Peru and Bolivia sink. Salvador, Sao Paulo, Rio de Janeiro, and parts of Uruguay sink, and with the Falkland Islands. And then there's a new sea that covers central Argentina. And new landmass joins with Chile. See that new landmass that goes down south?
To the left, yep.
Mm-hmm. And they're getting a lot of earthquakes in that area right now. As I watch a lot of this stuff, a lot of the earthquake activity, and they're getting a lot of earthquakes where they keep getting worried about tsunamis because of that area right there where they're pointing out that this landmass grows, which is crazy because Edgar Cayce was way before we knew anything about tectonics and stuff. It's crazy. Yeah.
Wonder if we can buy like the ocean floor and own that land when it comes up.
Right? That'd be awesome. So who were these guys, right? Well, George Michael Scallion he claimed to have the gift of prophecy. And it could quite possibly be that he just plagiarized Edgar Casey's work and made it, publicized it more, you know?
Mhm.
And touted it more, because he's the one who really brought this image of what a future Earth would look like into popularity. But it was really Edgar Casey who had made the predictions of this information. So what Scallion did was he took these prophecies and he put a timeline on it. Now, that's the worst thing you can possibly do ever. Because his timelines came and went and nothing happened. So everybody was like, oh, this guy's an idiot. He doesn't know what he's talking about. And the whole theory was discredited. However, it was actually Casey's theory, and he didn't put these kind of timelines on it. It was Scallion who did that. And a lot of Casey's stuff has all come true. So Casey was the most documented prophet of the 20th century. He was born in Kentucky. And he already had psychic abilities appearing when he was very young. He would talk to his grandfather's spirit, and then these spirit connections that he had just kind of increased. He could memorize books by sleeping on them. Dude, imagine if you could do that.
I could really use that.
Oh, I could so use that. Just download. That'd be awesome. So Edgar could put himself in this like trance-like state where he was sleeping. Basically, he looked like he was sleeping, but you could ask him questions. And I don't know if you've ever heard like the universal knowledge theories. That's like supposedly where Nostradamus tapped into was this universal knowledge. And if we're all enlightened enough, we could all tap into there. But certain people just have this ability. Well, Edgar Casey was one of them. Well, when Casey was down, he would talk about healing, he would talk about the future, dreams, psychicness, and spiritual growth. So, did his stuff come true? Like, everybody follows Nostradamus because so much of his stuff came true, right? So, what's up with Casey? Did his stuff really come true? Yes. Edgar Casey predicted the stock market crash of 1929. He was giving a private reading for a gentleman and just started talking about like the horrible economic times that were coming up for his company and everything. And sure enough, it was the economic collapse of 1929. He also predicted World War II way before it happened. The pole shift. This one is already proven correct, even though certain parts of it hasn't happened. And they can see that now. Like, you can go and research that. Suspicious observers. Dude, he talks about it all the time. The guys who's space,
Yeah, that space weather guy.
Space watcher.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. He also predicted the convergence of the communication companies. Now, this dude is born in 1877. And he's talking about stuff that's going to happen, out with technology that hasn't even been invented yet. He talked about the life of the Essenes. And the Essenes are the authors of the Dead Sea Scrolls. He was talking about what happened in the Dead Sea Scrolls before they were discovered. And he predicted that they would be discovered, and this is what was going to be in them. He predicted that blood was going to be used as a diagnostic tool, which obviously we are. And he also predicted back then La Nina and El Nino effect. He made the connection between temperature changes in the deep ocean and weather changes. So this is all one of those dudes sleeping, like giving people readings, And a lot of it, like scientists were like, oh, is that true? Like, let's go check that out, Really interesting stuff.
It's a very productive sleeper.
I know, right? I wish I could do that. I would be all set. I'd be all set. So yeah, go research Edgar Casey. Go check out the maps. Like I say, this is an article from Forbes. I'm going to put some of them up on my website. Not sure I'll be able to put them all up, but I'll have that available for you guys. And it's really interesting stuff. I don't know. I'm pretty into geological happenings and curious about how the earth moves and breathes, and that's why I'm pretty much into this kind of stuff. But the flooding is coming if you want to look at a conservative map versus a more extreme radical map like the one that I put in my fictional novel, you know. But my thing about the conservative map, I do have a point about the conservative map. They just talk about the water coming up and don't like talk at all about how that would affect the earth and then cause earthquakes and cause different things to happen, you know? So you can't just say, oh, we're just going to have this much more water and it's going to keep everything else exactly the same. That's unheard of. So.
No, you could. I mean, look at what water does, like in a tanker truck and stuff, driving around when the water, you know, the changes weight and moves around, and there's a lot.
We had the Coffer Dam back in California before I moved there. They built it and put water. You know, it was a dam with a reservoir, right? Well, when they put that water in there, it caused a reservoir-induced earthquake because of the different weight structure.
Yep.
So that's my major hiccup. Anyway, if you guys have comments, you want to, you know, give me more information I can research, help you out with, anything like that, just let me know. Go ahead and do that. And hopefully you enjoyed hearing kind of the, getting a little bit of the inside story on where the Changing Earth series all stems from. So we're already over. So I'm just going to sign out at this point. Until next time, remember, dream,
survive,
thrive.
Thank you for joining Sarah and Chen for this episode of the Changing Earth podcast. Don't forget to pick up your copy of Day After Disaster, Without Land, The Walls of Freedom, Battle for the South, Dark Days in Denver, and The Endless Night at www.authorSarahFHathaway.com. If you love the Changing Earth series and podcast, become a supporter while you're there.